Welcome everybody. Can see you all joining us and connecting to audio. Hi, if you're catching the recording this evening, it is great to have you all here. My name is Lee and I'm one of the team leaders based in Wellington, and I'm joined by some of my fabulous Team MixZIng members from around the Wellington and Taranaki region tonight. We have got a jam-packed menu all around some inspiration using various types of mince. So it's great to have you here. Pop in the chat box. Where are you joining us from tonight? Where are you? Love to see where you're zooming in around the country. And are you a Thermomix owner already or not yet? Are you just a little bit curious, keen to see some more? I'm just letting in some more people. My doorbell's ding-donging. Oh, hi, Alexandra. Alex is in Wellington. Hello, Alex. Haven't seen you on a Zoom for a long time. Great to have you here. Cambridge, Inglewood, Porirua. Hi, Linda. Great to have you here. If you are able to, please do pop your camera on. It's really nice for us to see your beautiful faces so that we can interact and chat with you along the way instead of just presenting to a black screen. Makes it a little bit more interactive and fun for us as well. Do stay on mute throughout the duration of tonight, just so that everyone is able to hear the presenters. That would be awesome. And if you've got any questions, pop it in the chat box, and at the end we'll have an opportunity for some questions as well. But hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions throughout the night, and you'll be able to leave here with some tips and tricks and ideas around how to use it. So, oh, I'm just getting a message. I need to make one of my teamies a co-host. That's why she can't see the doorbell to let others in. Sorry, Jess. I will just make you co-host now. There you go. Can you see the doorbell? She's going to let people in while we're chit-chatting and having a good time. So we should be done in under an hour. We've got 5 wonderful teamies, and they can introduce themselves as we zoom around their kitchens and share some great recipes with you this evening. So yeah, great to have you here. We're going to head on over firstly to Rosemary's kitchen. So I'm just going to bring her up on the spotlight here. Take it away, Rosemary. Over to you.
Free now. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm beaming in from New Plymouth. Tonight I'm going to be making the curry beef and noodles, referred to in cookie dough as the Aussie Chow Mein. So I will start with that and away we'll go. So I have it in my machine under Asian. I've already got it saved for me, so start cooking. I've got garlic cloves that it's asking for here. And we have brown onion cut into half. And we have a request to put the lid on with that. And here we go. Made mince meat of that, or should I say mince onion. It's asking us to scrape down the side. For those who don't have a Thermomix yet, it can be a little bit daunting to think, oh, how do I learn how to use this? But if you learn first by following next, you get the idea of how Thermomix actually goes about assembling something. And once you've got your head around that, you can then go on to manual cooking, and I'll show you that a little bit later on. So they're asking now for the curry powder. So that's in with the onion. And next, 40 of olive oil. So I love the way that children can operate the machine. I have a customer who had the machine 3 days, I think it was, and she sent me a video or a photo of her 8-year-old standing by the machine. He had actually made Anzac biscuits and a chocolate cake, and while the chocolate cake was cooking, he set himself up his own collection so that he can actually save his favourite recipes. So that just made my heart sing. I was really thrilled that an 8-year-old can actually look at Thermomix, work it, and make a jolly good job of what he was doing. So it was just so exciting. So can you imagine what you would like to be cooking if you're sick of cooking, you're tired of it, you've lost your energy, you can't be bothered, you can't think of what's next? Thermomix really helps people like that because it's so inspirational. And for people that have got the machines too, if you keep in touch with your consultant, you will learn heaps. We learn heaps from our people as well. And it's just really exciting to get you buzzing and get you doing things that you would never have done before. And I know I find myself making all sorts of recipes that I would never ever tried without having Thermomix. Had mine now over 6 years, and it still really thrills me and amazes me that, wow, stuff turns out so good. So I encourage anyone that's thinking about looking at Thermomix, invite somebody to your place, invite a consultant to come along and do a cooking experience, because boy, you will learn heaps. I wish you could smell this now. There's garlic and onion and curry in the machine, and it's starting to smell really good because you can see the temperature here is up to 100. So that's sauteing. So you're not having to stand there and stir your onions and make sure that they don't stick on the bottom and burn. The machine takes care of all of that for you. So it's wonderful, and it's safe to have a lot of fun. We're just counting down now to 40 odd seconds. So in the chat box, has anyone ever made this one before? Let us know what you think about it. Can really hear the machine going now. It's really sauteing that food in there, and it's smelling really good, really good.
Rosemary, I just asked everybody in the chat box, what's something that you've made in a Thermomix that you may not have made before owning a Thermomix? We've had a few things coming in: pastry, paste and sauces, own spices, butter. Annie's made butter, nearly everything. Risotto from scratch, pavlovas and sponges. There's so many things that you can do with, with these, isn't there? Thanks for sharing. I love that. Butter chicken from scratch.
I've just placed the meat in the jug, and we've got next, and we're putting the rice in at the same time as the meat. That sounds a bit funny, doesn't it? But we'll see how it comes out. I can remember when I first started selling, somebody said to me, "Oh, could you make nasi goreng at the demonstration?" And I thought, oh, heck, I've never made that before. I didn't know what it was. I've never eaten it or anything. And I sat down and I pulled out the Cookie Do app, looked on my phone, had a look, and I thought, well, how silly can I be? All it is do what you're told, go next, put the next thing in. Yes, of course I can do that. Why did I ever think that I couldn't? And that's kind of something that happens quite frequently, that you have a go with Thermomix and you do end up doing things that you would never have thought about doing before. Yeah, it's exciting.
Love it. Thanks, Rosemary. I'll leave you there for a minute while it's cooking, Rosemary. We'll just run over to Darsh's kitchen while you're sauteing off your mince and your rice. So we'll come back to you in half a tick. Thank you. You've got a couple of minutes to go there, haven't you?
Yeah, I have 3.
Okay, we'll come back.
Okay.
Thanks, love.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my kitchen here in Kelburn in Wellington. And I hope you are warm where you are. I'm actually bringing you tonight one of our family's favourite dishes. It's a Middle Eastern lamb pizza pie. I've actually got the dough pre-made. This is just half of it. Half of it I've got in the tin already. And you might notice there's a few red flecks in the dough. So I'll tell you why that is, because I made the harissa myself. So going back to one of the things that you would never have thought you would make before, I made harissa paste this afternoon. Easy peasy. And I've got this lovely big jar of it, which I'm going to use this evening. And so instead of rinsing out the bowl, top tip for you, don't do that, but actually cook the recipe that you're going to cook in the bowl so that you're actually able to use all of those ingredients. I'm all about saving money at the moment. So I'm adding in my garlic cloves. Next, I'm going to pop my measuring cup and just chop that 3 seconds speed. If you don't have a Thermomix, my goodness, you will be astounded when you look at this, because that was, as you recall, 3 seconds. Look at that, completely chopped, amazing. Don't scrape the sides of the mixing bowl. I've got 4 children and I love that all of those instructions are so easy to follow. I can see there's a few kids on our call tonight, and I don't know how old you are. You could tell us in the chat box, but my children have been cooking since they were really little. And in fact, I've got customers, some 4-year-olds who cook some of their dinners. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so now I've got in my oil, I've got in my onions, and then I'm going to just start putting that onto high heat. So I'll do that now. I can preview and look ahead at what I need to do. And so it's just frying away. And then next I'm going to add in my lamb mince. And yeah, I can see there's a 5-year-old who loves to help. I wonder if you could tell us what your favorite recipes are to cook. If you are a little one, we'd love to know that. I think I'm going back to you now, aren't I, Lee, while I fry away my onions.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, Dasha. We'll head back on to Rosemary. I think you're just on mute, Rosemary.
Yep, just unmuted.
There we go.
13 seconds. I should mention too that the blades that are in there, they're set automatically by the machine for this particular step on reverse. So it's not going to mince that mincemeat up anymore. Here you go. So that's what that looks like. Is that, can you see that? Shadow's not very good. So that's got the rice in there. You can see the grains are starting to cook. Next, it's asking us to add the water. And the scales are in the bottom of the machine. Everything's all done for you with the scales. Chicken stock. It asks for chicken stock paste. Now there's beautiful recipes in Thermomix for chicken stock paste. I take it a step further and I looked at the chicken stock powder, which is on cookie dough, and you dehydrate it and you blitz it down and you get a big jar like those big Cathedral Cove coconut jars full of beautiful chicken stock. So a teaspoon of chicken stock and 500 mils of water is a heck of a lot better and cheaper than the real stock that we are faced with on TV on a regular basis. So I've got real and I've actually made my own, and it's great. I do that with the beef stock as well as the chicken stock. And soy sauce. Now, because I'm gluten-free, I don't use soy sauce at all, even the gluten-free one, because I use coconut aminos. That one you can get in the supermarket easily. This one is not quite so easy to find. This one is a little bit thicker And this one comes in two kinds, one like this, which is thin, and the other one has got sticky across it. So for some Chinese dishes, you want that stickiness of the soy sauce, look for that. I know that New World has it in some towns, not in New Plymouth, unfortunately, but I have found one and I've stocked up on it. So asking for celery stalks that have been cut and carrot matchsticks. So this is starting to look quite colourful, isn't it? And frozen beans. That's the beans. And
Rosemary, we've just had a question come through in the chat box, just wondering around the chicken stock powder.
yeah,
How long does it last? And do you use the same sort of quantities as the paste? Any tips around those?
yeah, I do the paste exactly as the recipe says. I spread it out into 2 trays in the oven. You cook it at 100 degrees for 4 hours and it dries out. It looks ugly, actually. It looks like bark off a tree. It doesn't look nice at all. You just tip that into the machine. I think you blitz it on speed 9 for about 9 seconds or something, and you get that beautiful powder. Because I'm a one-person household, I used to look at the paste and think, oh, I'm not going to use all of that. And is that going to be okay a bit later on? But with the powder, I think I've overcome all of that. And it lasts a lot longer without having to put it in the freezer or anything.
I've just found the recipe on cookie dough, so I've popped that in the chat. So if anyone is curious around that chicken stock powder, it's there for you, along with all the other recipes that the team are demonstrating tonight. So jump in the chat box, and an email will go out after tonight. So in the next day or so, you'll get all the recipes and the recording. So if you miss any of it.
The stock powder recipe was in that book that they put out to celebrate 20 years of Thermomix being in Australia and New Zealand. That colourful booklet, you know the one I mean? Okay, so it's the one that's got the story of Grace and Bianca and how they set up the business and everything to do with that. And it's got interviews and recipes from a lot of the celebrities that some of us would have seen on MasterChef. So it's a really nice book to have. It's one that you can put on your coffee table and pull out and just read like a book. Really interesting.
That's
where the stock powder recipe came from. This is going to go for 3 minutes more. So you might want to swap over.
I'll whiz on back over to Dasha, I think. Dasha,
Yep.
Are you ready for us in your kitchen?
Yeah, hi. I finished that step, and so you can see I've got some fabulously fried onions. Smells great in here. So now I'm going to do the next step, which is just to give them a quick chop. I love how you can go backwards and forwards, even if you've lost your way. And so I'm just going to give them a quick chop for 5 seconds at speed 6. So remember when I put them in, they were in wedges. Let's see what they're like. And then after that, I'm going to start adding in my lamb mince. I've made this recipe, as I say, plenty of times in my household. There you go. That's what 7 seconds of chopping looks like. And we've made it with leftover bolognese. We've made it with different flavorings like taco flavorings, all sorts of things. So I've put in just half of the mince, and then it's asking me to put in 20 grams of olive oil. And then I'm going to put on the splash guard again. That's just prevent those little ones in particular from getting burnt as we go up to high heat, which is at 118 degrees. And I've now got to cook for another 5 minutes. So I think it's back to you, Rosemary.
Thanks, Dasha. Rosemary, are you ready for us in the next steps?
The next step, it's got another minute or so to go.
Alrighty, we'll whiz on over
I'll
to
just-
Joan's kitchen.
I'll
like.
hang on, before you do, I'll just show you one thing. The recipe at the end calls for noodles, calls for fried noodles, and I can't find gluten-free fried noodles. So I'm just going to use ordinary pad thai rice noodles. And I've put them in the thermoserver and I've covered them with boiling water, and I'll leave them there for 8 minutes and then drain them. And I'll add that to the mixture instead of the fried ones. Okay, these bowls are brilliant. If you host a cooking experience and have a couple of people over, you end up with either being able to buy one of these really, really cheaply, or you get one given to you totally free. They're worth their weight in gold. They're double lined, they don't go in the oven or the microwave, but they keep your food warm or cold for 2 hours. So they're a really good handy thing to have in the kitchen, and you can have way more than one of them. Okay,
Awesome.
2 seconds. So what does this look like? So that's what it's looking like so far. Can you see that? Okay. Just ask us to give it a stir around. And next is to add the cabbage. So I've chosen to use a Savoy cabbage. So we'll put that in. But this makes quite a decent size meal for a few people. And we are going to lid on and stir well with the spatula. Place the simmering basket. It's a safety measure for us. And we're going to go to 3 minutes. So over to you, Lee.
Awesome, thank you. I think we'll head on back over to Dasha's kitchen. Oh, 2 minutes. Okay, we'll head on over. Thanks, Dasha. We'll head on over to Joan's kitchen now. We've got a new spotlight to add there. Thanks, Rosemary. Top job.
Good evening. I'm coming from Lower Hutt, so just north of Wellington. Now I'm going to be making Vietnamese meatballs with a chili sauce. I'm only going to do a half portion tonight because it's got quite a bit of coriander in it, and my family don't like coriander. I'm the only one that will eat it. So I made some the other day just as a trial and nobody ate them. So I've eaten plenty. So I thought, well, I'll just do a half portion. So I'm going to get the chicken out the fridge. It's partly frozen and I've just chopped it into bits, so it's partly frozen. I'm just going to put in 200 grams. We're going to show you how you can mince in the Thermomix. It's amazing. Put the lid on, measuring cup. And it's going to be 10 seconds on speed 6. Right, and you can, I'll show you what it's like. And here's your minced chicken. So brilliant. So it does that with all minced different meats. So you don't need to buy the mince. Right, now transfer to a bowl. Now I've got these bowls, which again are in the mix shop. They're amazing. They have little lids on. They're all food safe, dishwasher safe. They don't rust. They've got measurements on them. The little ones are later. You get the medium sized one, they come as a set of 3. And this is 2.5 litres. Beautiful silicone tops, lovely rounded edges with a little pouring thing, so very easy to use, good to store food in. And we've got the big one, comes 4.5 litres, so they can go in the dishwasher. And the great thing is they can stack, so you can stack them in your drawers. Like so, or if you like to have them showing, stack them like so. Now, so I'm just going to put the mince into the little one. And I'm going to use, like Sasha likes these spatulas. I love it. I love my green one. I see Dasha's got a grey, but I like the green. So I'm only doing half the mix. It will tell now to do another 200 grams of chicken, but as I say, I'm making half the mix. Don't need to wash the bowl. Put in 10 grams of ginger. 2 spring onions that are chopped. 2 cloves of garlic. It says 2 for the double mixture, but I always add a wee bit more garlic, so I put 2 in. Now, sprigs of coriander, so there's 4. So I only put 2 because again I'm only doing half the mixture. Lemongrass, so lemongrass chopped, so 1 stick of lemongrass. Insert the lid with the measuring cup. We're going to go 3 seconds, speed 8. So look at that. You'd never get that done in 3 seconds by doing it by hand. Thermomixes are amazing. I've had mine for nearly 2 years and it never ceases to amaze me what I can do with it. Scraped down. So they must be. It's going to do it a wee bit more. So he's going to do it for 5 seconds on speed 5. You get impatient because they take a while to unlock. So that's beautifully chopped, smells beautiful. Now we're going to add the mince. Medium egg. Now, because I made it, only made it in half, I've split my egg up and I've just shaken it. So that's half an egg. Now, it's going to be half a teaspoon of soy sauce. Now, a tablespoon's 15 grams. So I've weighed this out, so it will be just over 7 grams. So you don't need to use a tablespoon. You can just use the scales on the Thermomix. Again, fish sauce, it says a tablespoon, which would be 15 grams. So I've weighed it out. It's 7.5, just over 7. Now lid back on with the measuring cup. And we're going to go 4 seconds, speed 4.
There's some great flavours into these meatballs there, Joan. All those beautiful herbs, fresh
Yeah.
things.
So there we go. Scrape down the sides. Smells nice. The mixture looks nice and moist. Okay, scrape down sides. Skin. 5 seconds, speed 3.
Joan, because you're reducing the quantities, are you reducing your chopping times?
Well, I didn't find I needed to. I did one the other day and it was just perfect. I just left it as it was. So and the cooking time was much the same, I found. Transfer to a bowl, and that's that, but then you just got to make them. So I'm going to show a mixing bowl. I suppose it would depend, Lee, how you like your mince, but I thought the meatballs were lovely the other night, and I did them because I looked and I thought, no, they were a good texture.
That's good. Yeah. No. You've always got to be a bit mindful of the process when you're doubling and halving.
Well, yeah, but it's only going for such a short time. So I mean, I find that
It's okay.
it looks fine.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so now we're just going to put some water, a litre of water. Using all my bowls tonight. It's a simmering basket. We're going to be going up to 100 degrees. So for safety, we put our simmering basket in. Going to go for 8 minutes. And Varoma, which goes up to, I think, 120 degrees. So that's it. Now I'm going to make the meatballs.
Fantastic. While you're rolling out your meatballs, Joan, I think we'll whiz on back to Dasha and just have a check in where she's up to. What are you up to, Dasha?
Oh yeah, hi. I have now had the mince finished cooking. So I'll just show you that there. And I'm going to add in my tomato paste. Just 50 grams of that. Next, I'm going to add in my water. Add in that harissa that I made this afternoon. Wait till you see this. Look at this colour. So I'm just going to pop that in. It says 30 to 50 grams. I'm making this for my children's lunch boxes tomorrow, lucky things. And so I'm actually just going to put in the 30 grams. So then next, without the measuring cup, I'm going to cook it for 3 minutes. And I'm just going to preview ahead. So if you can see my screen, one of the amazing things about the Thermomix is that you can actually skip ahead and have a look. And so you'll see that my next step is to leave it in the mixing bowl to cool a bit, which means you'll be able to whiz around plenty of kitchens before you come back to me. And then I'm going to be assembling that pizza pie and getting it ready to put in the oven.
Awesome. Thanks, Tasha. All righty. I think we're going to whiz on over to Rosemary's kitchen because I think her chow mein is actually all done. It was so speedy.
So the carrot is still got a bit of a bite to it, and so does the cabbage. The noodles look perfectly cooked and they're not all mushed up. So that's great. So now I have to combine the two. So look at that. So it makes a huge meal. That's really quite a few servings, I would think, there. So just getting that out. I discovered a new way to clean my bowl the other day, and it's absolutely brilliant. You know how sometimes the bottom of the bowl, when you've had high heat cooking, it can have like a film on it or a little bit of caramelization. I discovered that if I sprinkle some baking soda on that, if I dismantle, take the blades out, put the bowl in the sink, sprinkle some baking soda over it, get the juice of half a lemon and just squeeze it over, and then just rub it gently with a cloth, it just comes up like absolutely brand new. It's really, really good. I encourage you, if anyone's having trouble thinking they're not getting their bowl clean, try that way because gosh, it works. It looks really good. So this is this meal all ready to serve up to some hungry people.
Love it. And that was done in under 20 minutes. So really easy, quick midweek meal that could be done, you know, in a jiffy. So
and it's got all the veggies there, and it's, you know, very filling, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, it looks delicious. And Jess had a great tip in the chat there as well. She's saying that you could leave the noodles out for a low carb option as well. So if you were wanting to, you could absolutely do that too. Or you can have it with rice instead, you know, more of a.
You can have other vegetables in there as well.
Love it. Top job. We'll leave you to sort that one out. Right, we'll whiz on over to our next kitchen. I think we're heading on over to see what Brody's got ready for us with his mince. Thanks, Rosemary.
Welcome.
Hello everyone. So tonight I'm going to be making Chinese dumplings. So to start off with, this recipe I'm using requires pre-bought dumpling wrappers, but I made my own using another recipe that I think Lee's going to send out to you all as well. That's on Cookie Dough, and that one goes through. So to start off with, I'm going to start with making our filling. Starting off with our 200 grams of Chinese cabbage, or one box cabbage cut into pieces. Just chucking that all in there. So we've got 40 grams of celery. It says 40 grams of spring onions or shallots. I've got shallots tonight that I'm going to chuck in there. And 1.5 teaspoons of salt. But I'm just going to estimate that one with my Now I'm going to insert a measuring cup, put a lid on, and blitz that down 10 seconds, speed 5. So our next step is to transfer it into our simmering basket. Once we've transferred it into there, we are pretty much we are pouring it in so that we can get rid of some of the liquid that comes out of our cabbage. But I've just seen that my cabbage isn't quite blitzed down enough, so I'm actually going to chuck that on for another round. Chuck that on. All I have to do is just go back a step and chuck it on for a second time. All I'm going to do, I'm going to disappear for a couple of seconds. Is there anyone else that needs to jump on so I can go and get rid of the water out of this cabbage?
Yeah. Tell us how you're going to do that. What's the process there, Brody?
All I've got is got my simmering basket. I'm going to chuck the cabbage inside my simmering basket. And then what it says to use is using our spatula. We just kind of squash. Oh, I realize my face isn't in. I'm going to squash the cabbage up the sides of my simmering basket and just leave it to sit for a couple of minutes to drain out.
Fantastic. All right, you go do that. We'll whiz on over to someone else's kitchen. Awesome. Happy cabbage squeezing. All righty. We'll whiz on over to Jess's kitchen, waiting in the wings there. We'll replace the spotlight.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm just going to put all these little extra screens down. I just love the dumplings that Brody is making, and I'm really excited to see how he folds his ones. So I'm actually tonight making some delish pesto nuggets. So we have made these before at our house, and I, as people know who's been on these Zooms before, like to swap a few things out because I don't always have all the ingredients in my house. And tonight I swapped the first ingredient out, which is always a good start. But these are fantastic for lunch boxes. You can serve them with lots of different sauces, tomato sauce, sweet chili, whatever you've got. They're called delish pesto nuggets. So starting to cook. So I'm just going to skip through this step. So this is weighing 100 grams of gluten-free rice crumbs. I didn't go and buy gluten-free rice crumbs because I just saw them and they were quite expensive. So I've just blitzed some almonds. So 100 grams of almonds, and I've just blitzed that to make a little coating because this is what's going to crumb these nuggets. So that one's done there. Pop that aside. And so now we start with our little mixture. 1 garlic clove, 3, in they go. We never do 1, times 2 plus 1 when it comes to garlic in my house. Some pine nuts are going to go in now, 80 grams of those. And then I've got some nice fresh baby spinach that I prepared earlier in a packet, just 60 grams. That one. Beautiful. So they did have this week at my supermarket. Often they don't, so I'll just use things like whatever's on sale. Sometimes I use spinach, some frozen spinach as well, but I'll just, first of all, I will let it defrost and I'll squeeze all the excess moisture out just to make it a little bit less liquidy, and also way cheaper. You can get it any time of the year. You can also use silver beet and things like that, a bit of kale as well. But again, with the kale, do make sure that you bruise it first and take the hard centers out. Otherwise it can be really bitter and they're really super tough. All right, some olive oil. So 20 grams of olive oil is going in now. Go. And 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Popping the lid on the mixing bowl with our little measuring cup in the top there. And we're going to go 10 seconds of speed 5. All right, so just towards the end of that, I could hear a bit of a change in the sound. And actually everything had spun out to the edges. So a top tip, if you do hear that, there it is all there, and you hear the blades sort of sound like they're spinning in the air, you can just stop your machine and then just give it a bit of a scrape down to get all those bits there. And that smells delicious. Okay. Also remembering not to tap the side of your machine because it's not great for your scales. Now, I minced my chicken a little bit earlier today. So I just, when I minced it, I just put it straight back in the packet that I got it out of. Then I didn't have to clean another dish. So 500 grams of chicken mince going in there. Beautiful. I'm just going to give my hands a bit of a wash.
While you're doing that, Jess, I just popped in the seasoning box. Some of you may have noticed that Jess was putting the salt in from her seasoning box. So the link is there for the mix shop. You'll see lots of
seasoning box. All right, I'm going to pop in some vegetable stock paste. Here's my next mix shop, my fave. These were one of the first things that I bought from the mix shop, and I love these measuring spoons. Right, 1 teaspoon. So here's my trusty old veggie stock paste, and it just had all my leftover veggies from last week. Made that one super quick. 40 grams of coconut cream. Put that in there. And the lid goes back on. And this one's actually going on the reverse blade, okay? So we don't need to chop up that chicken anymore. And just for 10 seconds. So my other favourite mix shop items, I do love a cookbook. And I know that these are on, and Rosemary's already talked about this one here tonight. This is a beautiful one. But also the Less Waste, More Food is an absolute favourite of mine. And you could really never go past a second bowl. So these are an absolute game changer in my point of view. Love having the ability to switch between. So this is now all mixed up, as you can see there. Beautiful green chicken. We call it Incredible Hulk chicken at our house, just to try and get Mr. 5-year-old to eat green things. Mr. Hulk loves that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a couple of teaspoons and I'm going to roll them in this little mixture here. It then says that you can either, so you'll make about 30 nuggets with this one, and you can either pop them in a fry pan with a little bit of coconut oil. So I'm going to do some like that, but I'm also going to try it in my air fryer because I've never tried them in there before. I thought I'll give them a go, and I'll let you know how they turn out.
Awesome, thanks, Jess. All right, we're going to whiz back on over to Dasha's kitchen. I think her filling is all ready to assemble in her beautiful pie. Just replace you there.
Yeah, that's right. I've got the base of the pizza dough is here in my tin, and I've put in half of the feta and a sprinkling of pine nuts. My filling has now finished, and so I'm just going to pop that on top of the delicious feta and that dough, which has got some of the harissa paste in it. Thank you for that top tip, Rosemary, about how you clean your bowls. Absolutely. Baking soda is the way to go for these bowls. And Jess is right. If you could choose anything from the mix shop, your favorite has definitely got to be an additional bowl. Though right now, my favorite thing from the mix shop, without doubt, is sitting right here on my bench. It's this beautiful sparkling black Thermomix. My goodness, you've seen some of us using it, and it's hard to actually, but like the texture of it is what is quite amazing. It really does look and feel so different, even from the limited edition black one that came out last year. So I really encourage you, if you've been thinking about getting one, then now is a great time. So I've added the filling on top. You can see a sun in the back as well. And I'm not going to add him in.
You've got a little peeper at the door.
I have. And I've got my spinach here. I've actually just popped it inside the simmering basket and rinsed it. So just as a top tip for you, what is amazing about the Thermomix and all of the different accessories that come with it is how you can get rid of so many things that you actually already have. So for me, and I know for Lee and some of the other consultants, things like your colander, are things that you just don't need to have anymore. So I've just popped the spinach on top again, and now I have this beautiful colours that I've got going. And then another mix shop item that I love is actually can be bought from the mix shop, or you can earn it. Well, you can get it as a host gift. So if you decided to have a cooking experience at your home and have one of these amazing consultants that you've seen tonight, or one that's in your area come and cook for you, either virtually or in person, you can actually earn yourself or get yourself one of those as a host reward. So I've now tucked that in. Look at that there. And on top of it, I'm going to put my beaten egg and some water, which I did think tonight, and I'd love if you could put it in the chat. Does anyone have any great ideas about what they would use instead of egg on top of the pie? Because using half an egg on top of the pie just feels like a very expensive waste of an egg. It's not a waste, but it's definitely crazy, isn't it, how expensive ingredients have got at the moment. So I've brushed my pie with the egg wash. I'm going to sprinkle over all the rest of this beautiful feta. Yum. I tell you what, I'm feeling jealous already about putting this in my lunch boxes. That's the problem about promising things. People start to, or children that can read. You know, it's a great thing, but then they are able to look ahead, plan ahead, put meals in and do meal planning, which is great. And now I'm just popping on a few last pine nuts. So I'll lift it up and show it to you before I pop it into the oven at 190 degrees. Would you look at that? Absolutely beautiful. I cannot encourage you enough to try it. And if I dropped a little bit of flour earlier, and here's what we would use to pick it up, this amazing mini vat. Great for inside, as I say, when you drop some flour, even better for things like the car and those little hard to reach spots. I think we're going back either to Jess or maybe we're going back to you, Joan, but thanks everyone. I'll see you at the end.
Thanks, Dasha. There was lots and lots and lots of messages coming in suggesting milk, but we also had a very interesting comment that mayo might be a good substitute instead of the egg. So that could be worth trying. So yeah, brushing with milk, lots, or aioli. Yeah, or aioli would be nice, bit of extra flavour. Yeah, delish. Thanks for the tips. We're always learning from you guys as well. So yeah, I love that you're sharing with us tonight as well. Thank you, everyone. Alrighty, we're going to head on over to Joan's kitchen. I think she's been rolling some Vietnamese balls there. Let's have a little looky where she's up to. How you doing there, Joan?
They're actually cooking. They're about a minute away from being cooked.
Oh,
So,
fantastic. Brilliant.
yeah,
We'll leave you to steam them. Yeah, leave your lid on. You want to keep your lid on for your steaming.
Yeah. And then I was going to talk about my other thing that I love that's just new in the mix shop. Is the cannelé tins, the rose gold. Rose gold's it's a very nicely made product, rose gold trays. And these are a French sort of pastry. I've never tried them, but I tried them at one of our team meetings. Jess made some and they are absolutely beautiful. So I've just made those tonight. My son's already had about 4. So yeah, that's the cannelé rose gold pans, and this is what they make. So I was going to cut one to show you. It's sort of like a custardy centre. So there they are. And they're
They look amazing. Show us again. It was a very quick look. Show us the inside. Yeah, they look lovely and moist. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. Someone says to me they're not supposed to be like that, but I don't know. I've never actually bought ones. Can't tell you. But they're very crusty on the outside and you can make the different flavors. Those are just vanilla. So this is finished now, Lee. So I
love it. Sue's made some, and so's Helen. Helen did the savoury ones, and they were a huge hit. So yeah, I love that.
So there's our meatballs. Now, am I going to do the sauce now, or are you going to come back?
We'll come back to you shortly. One
Okay.
of the tips as well, if in that meatball recipe, if you didn't have chicken, you could absolutely do those with pork or as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Top job. And how easy, like quick and knowing what's in them. Hey, so good. Sue's saying yes, you want them crisp on the outside and soft inside. Yeah, which they did look. They look like you nailed it. Good job, Jane. Thank you. Alrighty, I think Dasha, we're heading back on over to Brodie's kitchen. How are you going after squeezing out your cabbage there, Brodie? Plenty of time to do that.
Yeah, we're good. Lots of time to do that. Hopefully you can hear me now, hopefully.
Yep,
Sweet. Right, I'm going to move on. I'm going to be starting off with we're going to start with a bit of more of the filling. So I'm going to add 250 grams of pork mince here. But something I do love about this recipe is that you can use whatever mince you like. So I'd love to know down in the comments what mince you guys would use in yours. Right. As you guys are doing that, I'm going to go through, we've got to add in a teaspoon of sesame oil. Go through and add in a tablespoon of oyster sauce, vegetable oil, soy sauce, and a tablespoon of Shell-Sing cooking wine. But this recipe, I found that if you don't have Shell-Sing cooking wine, you can replace that for rice wine vinegar if you have that. That one. As I'm putting these things in, though, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of my favorite mixed shop items. My favorite mixed shop items at the moment would definitely be, what have I got here? I've got the cupcake liners as well as the cupcake pen with this one over here. I make muffins probably once a week to take to work. So having the cupcake liners and cupcake pen just helps with getting rid of the mess, because I hate cleaning the muffin trays. So having the cupcake liners and the cupcake pen just stops all of that. And well, I'll quickly show you now, something cool about the cupcake pen is the lid of your Thermomix fits right over the top as well, so that you can pour straight into there, help fill it up, and then fill up the cupcake tin. That way, that one wants to go in the direction. Right. I forgot to say I'm adding sugar into this as well, just a teaspoon, just sweeten it up. Yeah. Soy sauce. I think you can tell I go through a lot of soy sauce. Since I carry it.
Oh, you've got industrial size soy sauce there. I love it.
I carry around a whole litre of it. A bit of pepper.
Such a good staple for all that Asian cooking, isn't it? It just gets used in so many recipes.
Oh, and my wine. A couple of teaspoons of that. And again, with all these things, I find it's a lot to your own taste. If you want to add a little bit more of this and less of that, you just put that in. So what I'm doing is adding my lid in, and we're going to mix that all together 10 seconds at speed 3. Keep measuring cup in, and then we're actually going to knead our mince. So we're going to put that on our knead mode. So the machine's actually already put it on into our knead mode for us. So we're going to put it on to knead for 1 minute.
And that's a great way to incorporate all those ingredients together without it pureeing and breaking down all the protein in those the mince as well. So Yeah, the recipe development team have really thought about all those steps and the best function ways to do it, which is brilliant. Top job, Brady.
Don't have to sit there with your hands doing it all by yourself. The machine just does it for you.
Especially with mince. What a messy job.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you one other thing that I've got on the mix shop that I enjoy is the derail molds. I love sticky date pudding, and with it just being 2 of us in the house, just sticking that puddings to the derail molds, put them into single serves, just ready to go for you. I love using those all the time as well, as long with cupcake puddings. I do a lot of baking around in my house.
I love that you're a baker. Have you used them for anything other than the sticky date puddings?
I've made little mini cheesecakes in it. I thought that was a pretty cool way of doing it. So I've little single serve cheesecakes work well in that.
Yeah, we could do so much in them.
Yeah. So next thing I'm adding in is a cabbage that I had drained just before. So all I'm going to do is just add that in. I'm going to add that mixing measuring cup and lid back on, and we're going to give that another mix for 5 seconds just to mix that all through. Right, so what it's telling me to do now is to transfer everything into a bowl and clean out my mixing bowl to get ready to steam my dumplings. But I'm going to skip that step for now, and I'm going to show you guys how I fill my dumplings with that one. So I have pre-made all my dumpling wrappers. My dumpling wrappers are, they're not pretty, but they'll work for what we're doing today. I actually have just realized I don't. Another mix shop item that I use all the time is the dumpling the dumpling presses, and I have realized I've given them to a friend to borrow at the moment, so we're going to do it by hand today.
Oh, you got the pressure of a live audience, Brody. I love it.
I do. But the cool thing, especially with this recipe, is there is a little video on the screen that pops up on my screen that tells me exactly shows you how to fold your dumplings. So all I'm going to do is it tells me put a heaped teaspoon of my mixture into my dumpling wrapper. What we want to do is we want to fold our dumpling wrapper in half. We'll see if I can see how pretty this ends up looking. Probably not that pretty, but that's all right. They still taste amazing.
Yeah.
Fold in half, we kind of fold in the edges around and fold 1/2 of the edge inwards and do the same on the other side. And fold them in. And then you kind of have your little dumpling.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Top job.
So now my
the mine, that's for sure.
We'll see. Now I've got to go through and fill all my dumplings, and you can come back to me once I've got them all filled and into the aroma ready to steam.
Fantastic. We'll leave you to do a few and crack on. Awesome job. Thanks, Brody. And I think Jess is steaming away her nuggets. They're steaming, aren't they, Jess? Or no air frying. That's right. I remember you said you were trying the air fryer tonight. Fantastic. So couple more minutes to go in the air fryer, which is lovely. Just checking where we're up to real quick. I think we're just about all done. Dash's pie is baking. Joan's meatballs of steam. So what I'm going to do is just a little quick screen share. And I'm going to show you a couple of things here with using fruit mince. So Rosemary, if I come over to your kitchen firstly, we'll just replace you. You can share with us around your fruit mince, and then I'm going to screen share how everyone can access that recipe.
Okay. I love the fact that there's already pre-recorded recipes in the guided cooking, but I love even more that those things that I've made for the last 50, 60 years or so, I can still make. And what's more, I can actually write that recipe out on the computer, save it in Cookie Do, send it through to my machine under my recipes load, went too fast. So created recipes, and here we have what I've called Carol's Fruit Mince. Carol is my sister-in-law who passed away last year on the same day as Queen Liz. And my family have used this one for probably 50 years. For people who don't like Christmas fruit mince, they often make the comment that they actually like this one, and it's really good. And it takes so many seconds to do. So do you want me to show that, Lee?
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly screen share before you get into the recipe. I'll just
Okay.
up on the screen here. So if you're not familiar with the recipe community, it is recipecommunity.com.au. Brodie, can you give me a thumb up? I know you're folding dumplings. Can you see my screen on your end? All good there? Awesome. Thanks, Dasha, too. So we're here, recipecommunity.com.au, and this works alongside Cookie Dough. So Cookie Dough, all the recipes are triple tested by our recipe development team, and then the recipe community just gives some freedom and some flexibility to be creative. You know, like Rosemary said, if you've got your favorite recipes or you can't find something already in Cookie Dough, jump in there, because chances are somebody may have created the recipe, or you have the opportunity to as well. So coming over here, I'm going to type in Carol's Christmas fruit mince recipe that Rosemary has shared with us. The recipe will come up on the screen, she says shortly. There we go. So Rosemary has put in her recipe. There's a photo of her beautiful Christmas fruit mince, and all the ingredients and the recipe is there. Now, pre-Cookie Dough 3.0, we could just use these recipes manually. But now what the beautiful thing is that we can do is actually click on the little add to Cookie Dough button here, and it's going to import that recipe directly over into your Cookie Dough account. Just give it a little confirmation tick there, and then it will open up in Cookie Dough. And you have the ability to edit even further. So you could, make your own version of that recipe, take your own photo and change the image if you wish to. And here you can actually, edit it to your own liking. You might like, a little bit more orange zest or a little bit less of the mixed spice, make it your own. And then you can also edit your recipes. We do have a deep dive into Cookie Dough workshop every month. So if you haven't been on one of those workshops yet, I will share the next one that is coming up at the end of the month. So do jump in and learn more around creating recipes, importing recipes, and editing existing recipes. But it's as simple as just using your little edit pencils there, and then you can use some of those icons to bring up the steps and the scales, and then do it all guided, which Rosemary is now going to do with her machine. So I'll stop screen sharing and we'll head back to Rosemary's kitchen to show us her fruit mince.
Okay, we all know people who don't like orange peel and lemon peel, but we all know that it gives really good flavour. So instead of cutting that up into fine strips, if you add the peel with the sugar, put it in like that, you can blitz it in literally seconds. So I'm going to go start cooking and come across this way, and that gives us the weight. And I'm going to go here, and I haven't got it entered. So I'm just going to so that's 5 seconds. You can do it as much or as little as you like. So you see that's 5 seconds has really got that rind disappeared into the sugar. That's good. Apple, big chunks of apple, the spices, the juice of the orange and the lemon, and the fruit mix. Whoops. The back of our book tells us that 5.5 is about the speed that Just got to wait for those arms to release. Depending on how much you want yours, that was done in about 7 seconds. You can do it a little bit more to get a big jar, a 2 kg jar of your fruit mince. Okay. Now, one of my favorite things that I've just recently bought from the mix shop, some of you will be aware of the juices that used to be in the shops years ago, and quite often, because they'd been put in the dishwasher, for instance, some of the paint started flaking off. So I was quite excited when I saw that the mix shop actually now had them, and they're just a little bit bigger. That was the biggest one that you could buy for the lemons, and this one is just a wee bit bigger, and they work really well. Put it in that way, and look at that, it just pours out. It's really good. And other little thing that I have recently bought, ready to make the Christmas mint pies, is the pastry shaper. So you put that in and it gets the bottom of the pastry attached to the bottom of the tin, and it makes it so much easier than trying to put your fingertips in and ending up ripping the pastry. So that's my 2 little favorite things at the moment. Changes regularly, because I think the mix shop should actually come with an addiction warning on it, to be quite honest. I think they have so many exciting, really lovely things. So
I do. Aren't we lucky that as consultants we get a discount in the mix shop as well? So if you are a mix shop addict, then consider joining the team and you can get a discount too.
yeah, exactly. So there you go. So that's the Christmas fruit mince.
Speedy. Love it.
It is.
Jen said that she loves that idea, as Edmonds didn't have theirs out at Christmas. So there we go. So
one thing that pairs really nicely with it is Alison Hall's sweet short crust pastry. I'm sure if you Google it, you get the recipe, but the pastry's almost like a piece of shortbread. It's really lovely. So it goes well with these.
Awesome. Top tips.
Okay.
Brody's getting his dumplings onto steam there. I think what's the cook time on those, Brody? I can't remember off the top of my head. We've got a couple of minutes for them to steam away. It's not a long, I think it's about 13 or 14 minutes, isn't it? From top of my, it's not a very long time.
Lee, am I making my sauce or am I doing it without being on Zoom?
Yep, we're going to come to you shortly.
Oh, okay. Done.
With Brody.
And so yeah, 13 minutes it says, but I find that sometimes they cook a bit faster than that, depending on how thick you've made your dumpling wrappers.
Fantastic. And you can turn the speed up as well. So I think the recipe does cook at quite a low speed. So top tip, anytime you're using a varoma, if it's a low speed like 1, just by turning up that speed to about 3 will actually help to force that air up a little bit faster, and can, just make things cook a lot quicker. I just can't English my words right now, but yeah, did that make sense? More speed, cook fast. Hopefully that made sense. Alrighty, so we'll leave you to get steaming. We'll head over to Joan. She's going to show us the beautiful sauce to her Vietnamese meatballs. Yep. Jenny's having a good giggle. And Sandy knew what I meant, so that's great. Well done. We get there, team. Alrighty, over to you, Joan.
Right, now
sauce.
going to make the meatball sauce. So again, I'm just doing half the measure. So it's 1 tablespoon of caster sugar. And if you have a Thermomix, there's no need to buy caster sugar, icing sugar and all that. Just get your normal granulated sugar. Caster sugar you can make 200, if you put 200 grams in, put it on speed 8 for about 2 seconds and you'll have caster sugar. For icing sugar, you need it for, I don't know, it's about 40 seconds or something, 30, 35, 40 seconds. So yeah, I've made my own caster sugar. So we need 2 tablespoons. And this is not being made in the Thermomix, you just do this by hand. So you're just going to dissolve the sugar with the boiling water. It's very quick and easy. Got some chili flakes. Oh, Sarah's not turning it up. It's my girlfriend ringing from Melbourne.
I love it. I usually get my mother-in-law ringing through Messenger in Samoa at this time of night. So yeah.
That's some fish sauce, teaspoon of fish sauce. And I don't have any lime, so I'm just using half a lemon. And we've got the coriander in there. So that just, I don't know if you can see it that well. It's just beautiful with the bit of red of the chili. And that's it. So we just stick that into and there we have
Yeah, delicious.
yeah, so very easy. It does make a full recipe would make nearly 24 meatballs. So I've made them a wee bit bigger and I've got a good size 6. Yeah, so very simple. And as I say, I like it, but my family don't like the coriander. So if I was making it for them, I'd probably put basil and some parsley or something in it. So, but I'll have these for my dinner. They've had dinner.
Yeah, delicious. How good. Oh, they look stunning. Well done, Joan. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
All right.
Asha, how long have you got on your pie? Is your pie out the oven?
I can certainly take my pie out of the oven. It is 3 minutes and 50 seconds away. I'm using the helpful timer on top of my Thermomix. So over to you.
Oh, brilliant. And I think, Jess, is your nuggets out your air fryer there? Let's have a look. We'll come over to you.
Okay, so I'm just going to turn on. I've done a batch where I've fried them a little bit in the coconut oil and then I've just popped them in the air fryer. But these are the delicious little nuggets that I've broken in half. So you can see them there. They are just full of greenness and that beautiful sort of pesto taste is stunning. I've made them a little bit bigger just because I didn't want to have to roll 30 nuggets out tonight. You know me, I'm like all about the time saving. So I made them a little bit bigger and I flattened them out a little bit so they're more like patties just to cook faster. But super easy and delicious. And yeah, great for the lunchbox. Great for my lunch tomorrow and for dinner tomorrow night. Easy. But really the longest part is actually rolling them out. So yeah, simple.
And could you roll those out and freeze them before cooking them, do you think?
Yeah, I would think so, absolutely. And even if you had the mince, because it was really quite a wet mixture. So what I would recommend is actually rolling them out and then popping them in the fridge for a little while and letting them sit a little bit and set. And that will probably be a good way to do it as well.
Yeah, awesome.
And yeah, I just popped them instead of the 10 minutes in the oil, I did one batch just straight in the air fryer and it's about 12 minutes in the air fryer at 190. Easy.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not quite as golden and crispy as the ones in the pan, but they're still beautiful. Just little bites. Yum.
Yeah.
Easy.
That'd be good for a little pleasure on a weekend or
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really, really delicious. And the taste is quite surprising when you bite into them because you've got those pine nuts and that real stowy taste.
Yeah, fantastic.
Easy.
Awesome, thank you. Now I've got something pretty exciting to share with everybody this evening. I'm going to just jump into another little screen share here. Jess, could you give me a thumbs up. We're all good. Awesome. So if you book in a cooking demo with your consultant between now and the 5th of September, you have the chance to win one of these new Cobalt VK7 cleaning systems, so vacuum and mop. They're coming to the Mix shop later this year, which is pretty exciting. You could be one of the very first people to be able to vacuum and mop at the same time. We have an incentive for consultants at the moment. We were able to earn it, and then this is your opportunity to potentially earn one yourself. And of course, the best thing about getting together with your consultant is asking all those questions and just finding some time to fall in love with your Thermomix, get lots of tips and tricks, get familiar with the functions, try something new that you haven't done before already. So reach out to your consultant. If you haven't got a consultant, then do pop a message through and we'll put you in touch with somebody. You can do that demo either virtually or in person, so very flexible. And it's just you and 2 people that you can help inspire to cook healthy food or save money. Who do you know that you could help to see the Thermomix and just have a really fun time together? And of course, alongside the opportunity to earn that VK7 is some wonderful host rewards as well. So I'm just going to screen share the host rewards because we do have some very special host rewards currently available as well. Some of the team have shared the mats and the thermo servers. They're around typically all the time, but we also have the opportunity to get yourself 12 months of cookie dough free. So if one of your guests do go on to purchase within 14 days of your demo, then you could get a 12-month subscription just tacked on to your existing cookie dough, which is pretty cool. It's just a fantastic platform and there's so much that you can be doing. We sort of touch base on some of those functions tonight. So meal planning, being creative, having less waste in the kitchen. How are you using your cookie dough? What's your favorite function that you're using in cookie dough? Or if you're not using your cookie dough and you want some inspiration, then do pop along to our upcoming class or have that demo with your consultant, because we're here to help you. We want you to get the most from your Thermomix and your cookie dough as well. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to get that as a host reward right through till the end of this month as well. So that goes through till the 31st of August. So yeah, would love to help and cook with you. So they're up on the screen there. I'm just checking I've covered everything else. Oh, if you're a new owner as well, just going to replace my spotlight there. If you're a newer owner and you haven't had a demo with your consultant, I did pop in the chat box earlier, having that time with your consultant, you also get a 20% Mix shop voucher to spend. So if you've had your eye on anything or anything's popped into your wish list after seeing some items tonight, it's a great opportunity to use that discount and really make the most from it. We also have an Easy Essentials online class at the end of the month. I'll pop that in the chat box next for you as well. So register, jump on there, and similar to tonight, we zoom around various consultants and team leaders' kitchens, just some of the basics to help you get off to the best possible start. So it's really just falling in love and learning more. So lots of opportunities to get learning underway. You don't have to figure it out all on your own. And I always love that saying that you don't know what you don't know. By jumping on these opportunities, you can really learn more. So I'll pop that in there as well. So I think we've just about finished. Brody, how's your dumplings looking? Should we whiz over to you? Have you got some? 2 minutes. Okay, he's not far away. So yeah, any questions, pop them in the chat box. We'd love to help answer those tonight, but we hope that you have been able to be inspired. We've seen lots of different recipes using mince in various ways. Which recipe do you think you might give a go first? Which one is exciting you the most to crack on and try? Pop in the chat box. You're going to do the Vietnamese meatballs, the Middle Eastern lamb pie, the pesto nuggets, the dumplings, the Christmas fruit mince, because I think you can have fruit mince pies any time of the year, or the chow mein, a quick dinner in under 20 minutes. Let's have a look. We've got chow mein and lamb pie coming in firstly. We're going to whiz over to Dasha's kitchen. She's going to show us the lamb pie. Let's have a little looky there. I'll just replace that spotlight. How are you doing, Dasha?
Yeah, here it is. And as I said earlier on, if you didn't catch it, this is absolutely delicious. A much loved family favourite in our place. It's a great way to extend just a little bit of mince left over. So if you made something like a bolognese, you don't have to use the exact recipe. Remember, Cookie Dough is a guide. And so you could save a little bit of bolognese and you simply make the dough and pop that in the middle along with some spinach and some feta and pine nuts. Absolutely delicious. And as I said, my children are going to have it in their lunch boxes tomorrow. Lucky things.
Yum, lucky kids. Hopefully
Yeah.
there might be some for your lunch too, Dasha. You're going to be able to get some.
I mean, it's 4 of them, but I'm pretty sure there should be some left over.
Love it. Top job. Well done. All righty. Don't think we've got any questions coming in. I think the nuggets, the chow mein, the meatballs, yeah, lots of people are ready to try some recipes. And if you do try any of those recipes, send a photo through to your consultant because we love seeing what you're making. And, you know, we love that you've been able to take some ideas from our virtual classes. Just going to whiz over to Brody. How are you doing there, Brody?
We're good, we're done. So what I'll do is I'll just open this up. So there's lots of steam that releases when you do this, so make sure you open the lid backwards, let the steam out that way. And something I do enjoy about the Varoma was the lid. Place that down there. All I need to do is I can lift this straight up here and place that straight onto my lid to help catch all those drips that are going to come off the bottom there. I did it quickly, so my top tray I only put 4 on my top tray because just to keep them nice and done quickly, but I filled up my bottom tray as well. This recipe makes up, I've made enough 40 dumplings, so that's, and if you think about that, I was just doing the maths in my head just before. I spent just under $10 on all the ingredients in these dumplings. So if you think about that, 40 dumplings for $10 is pretty good. And pretty much show you those. Have a look up there. It's my dumplings.
Oh, amazing work. They look great, Brody. Well done, you.
Pretty good.
All righty, we'll bring all the team on. We'll just add some spotlights there. Thanks for joining us, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure being with you all this evening. Hope that you're leaving feeling inspired. Just add some spotlights in. We've got Joan and her meatballs, Dasha with her pie. Thanks, team. Great job. Well, since everyone's holding up their dishes so beautifully, I'll snap a quick photo. Joan, where's your head? Can't see you. Got to squidge down. Awesome. I'll take a pic. We'll get that out on the on YouTube and the recording out to everybody. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Nighty pops. You're most welcome. Thanks for joining us.